Whenever you're ready.
Okay. George Will put it best when he said the phrase domestic cat is an oxymoron. It's very true. Most cats are very stubborn. Today I want to talk to you about maybe even persuading you if you're thinking about adopting a cat, or you can pretend I'm saying a dog in this entire speech because it can go either way. But I'd like to persuade you into looking at adopting from a shelter rather than a breeder. I'm just kind of do a brief outline between the pros and cons of a breeder versus a shelter or the Humane Society. In my first point, I'm going to be talking mostly about purebred cats and pros and cons. Like I said, you can substitute dog in there if you don't like cats. But about 2% of the cats owned in the United States are actually purebred. Just a few pros and cons from them. I actually know some people who own purebred animals. They're great to look at. They're great conversational pieces. I guess that's the best way to look at it. But the pros of owning one, you can enter them into shows. You can make a lifestyle out of owning a purebred. Most have certain characteristic traits that you can pick for your home. You'll know their personality, you know what they're going to look like. They're pretty easy to predict. The cons, of course, is how expensive they are. I've been looking into getting a purebred cat, and the one that I'm particularly looking at is about $1,000 starting price for a cat, so I'm going to wait on that. Some others, the breeder does not spay or neuter them. They don't have vaccinations. That's an added expense on top of the cat you have to get, or dog. And some breeders can be scammed. Unfortunately, that happened to my aunt when she was picking out her Labradoodle that she got. She ended up getting Goya, her dog, but she had paid for it. I don't know how much she paid for it, but given her credit card and everything, and found out it was a scam. So that was kind of a little setback. So you kind of had to make sure you go to a reputable breeder for that, and say that if you move or you just can't take care of the animal anymore, the breeders cannot take them back. You're stuck with it, and you end up taking it to a shelter because shelters take any animals. But with that said, though, I don't know how many of you have heard on the news, but recently, I think this happened yesterday. A woman had her home seized because she had about 40 cats and 3 dogs in her home. They're all in great condition, but they all went to the shelter, which about 70% of cats that go to shelters are euthanized, and about 60% of dogs are euthanized. But about a third of cats, acquired from people are strays, which is great as well, but unfortunately you have to spay and neuter them, you have to give them vaccinations, and you have to get them checked. I found that out the hard way with my first cat. I didn't, because he was healthy when I found him, and then he got feline leukemia, and then he died about 3 months later. But that's the great thing about shelters, which that's what I'm going to be my next point. Shelters vaccinate them, they spay and neuter them for you. You get a whole checklist of if they have pre-existing conditions. As well as, what else? Oh, they actually, they give your cat a personality. I guess you could say you have a little personality thing that you can see if that fits your home or not. With my cat, which I got from a shelter, he's about 3 years old now, and he was free. So I guess that's a little incentive to going to a shelter. Any cat a year older is free. Kittens start around $99. Which with a breeder, you won't get a kitten, you'll get a 4-month-old cat, which is the same as having a 2-year-old child, if you've ever owned a kitten. So, but they have them vaccinated, they're spayed and they're neutered. With that though, with a random bred cat, which is that's about 90% of the cats owned are not purebred in the United States. They are going to be kind of wild, but most of those are house trained. A lot of the cats in the Humane Society are house trained, as well as they've lived with animals. So going into a home, all you have to do is get them used to your home. But owning a cat or a dog is a great experience, especially helping them from a shelter. You can tell how appreciative they are to be in a home. So I guess in conclusion, if you're thinking about adopting, I would definitely look into a shelter. It's definitely more beneficial than starting from scratch with trying to house train an animal. Thank you.
All right. How about
Well, I like purebred animals, they're just expensive.
Vernisha? She's not here. Okay. How about Melanie?
I adopted a purebred.
You did? Nice. Thank you.
A lost hunting dog.
It was a dog. Yeah. Yeah, we've adopted a couple dogs, but ours have all been really dumb.
You're still recording.
Not at all. Damn.